Right, so today we are looking at do men and women think the same when it comes to dating? This is another episode of Spectrum on Jubilee, and given you guys seem to enjoy the do all killers think the same video as much as I did, I thought I'd do another one. Also, because I've obviously never killed anyone, I was only able to offer objective critiques to the opinions expressed in that video. But this time, given I am a man, I can also offer my subjective opinions too, which is pretty exciting, so I'm looking forward to it. Let's just jump straight into it.
So you're saying you care more about money than a relationship?
I don't give a if she was a homie. But if she stole my money, yeah, that affects my life.
Men and women cannot just be friends. 3, 2, 1.
Cannot just be friends.
All right, whilst they figure this out, let me go first. To me, this is a pretty obvious, strong disagree. I know it might be hard to believe given I'm filming a YouTube video in my bedroom by myself right now, but I have loads of women in my life who are just friends. I'm guessing the answers to some of the questions coming up in this video will be subjective, but to me, this is just objectively false. And personal experience is enough to say that that's objectively false. So I'm curious where some of the agreement is coming from here.
He's still deciding, but I'll go ahead. There's always this underlying current to a man and a woman when they're just friends, because there's this sexual attraction, this energy that you can't even see it.
In every friendship, does she think? I mean, fair enough, that might be the case for her and all of her male friends, but surely she doesn't think that's the case with every male-female friendship ever, right?
It's always flowing. And men, as you know, you guys are conquerors. You want a conquest. You want to, even if it's a friend, sometimes that develops into more simply because law of familiarity, you start getting close and comfortable, and maybe you weren't attracted to her initially, but that opposition of that sexual polarity always kicks in.
I mean, I don't disagree that that happens a lot, but to say that that always happens, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, some of my friendships began over 10 years ago. Does she think that it's inevitable that some sexual attraction is going to develop? Surely not, right?
What if the man is like not attracted to women? Just like generally, do you think that's still?
You mean if they take a different
Like a gay man and
sexual orientation?
and a woman being friends.
That's also such a good point. I'd only pictured this with me being as the man in this scenario. I guess because that's all I needed to prove that it was wrong, at least in my opinion. But yeah, there are men out there that aren't sexually attracted to women too. So yeah, what about men that are gay and asexual and so on? And actually, what about bisexual people? This would literally mean that they can't have friends, or they can't just be friends with anybody just because there's perhaps some potential that they could find them attractive.
Well, I think that that's different, perhaps because they're attracted to men. So in that moment, they have taken on the feminine energy.
So they only want to conquer the men, not the women.
Well, in that, there's always masculine and feminine energy, whether you're a man or woman. So if the man is gay and identifies as being attracted to men, then he's in the feminine energy, mostly. Now, if there's two of them, there's one that's more masculine and more feminine, but that's for another.
Yeah, I think Jenna's side eye there was pretty valid. What is she talking about? Okay, so say there's a gay man and he's got more feminine energy. He's still not going to be sexually attracted to the woman, so they can just be friends in that scenario, right? Also, she does a lot of generalizing and makes it seem absolutist as well, which I really don't like. Like, oh, all men are conquerors, all men do this, and it's like, well, that's just not true. Even if you think the majority of men are a certain way, this says that men and women cannot just be friends. All you need is one scenario where a man and a woman can just be friends, and you have to strongly disagree with that. Also, by the way, big fan of this guy changing his mind whilst they're discussing it. Changing your mind based on new information is what you're supposed to do.
Two of my best friends are women. We have great times together all the time. Not once have I considered sleeping with them or anything like that.
Ever?
No. But that's the thing is, though,
In
that's
their
why,
darkest hour, in your darkest hour, come on.
No.
Because you like started off.
Because we started off as
friends.
friends, and this is like I said, I was never attracted to them.
A lot of relationships start like that today, even though I discourage it. They say, I'm not attracted to them, but it'll grow. And I'm always like, it can happen.
It can, but
But the odds of it, so I agree with you on that as well.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I do
Slim to
understand
none.
and I get it, but two of my best friends are women, and not once. Everyone keeps saying like, oh, you're gonna do, and I'm like, it's not, because the
never
attraction
know.
was
Yeah,
never
life
there.
is-
Interesting. So I wonder why he's just on disagree rather than strongly disagree. Surely he's sitting there going, I'm part of an example that shows that men and women can just be friends.
Are your friends attractive?
Yes.
Like they look good.
But attractive is subjective.
But hold on, like
depend on
just like generally speaking, like your girls like look good, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you was just lonely, like it's been a moment, you didn't want to beat it, You know what I mean? Or like, you know.
There's a special exemption. I'm non-monogamous, so I never have to worry about intimacy.
Well, that's why.
Well, so you getting played. So you ain't worried about your man.
He's like getting it, so he doesn't need it. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if you was lonely, you wasn't getting it though, and your friend was throwing it
and
at
I guess
you.
that's a different situation. That's what I'm saying. I know I'm an
you belong
outlier.
over here
I don't
though.
think so.
Come to the dark side.
If he's not
okay.
attracted, if we're not attracted,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just
like,
friends.
it's just friends, yeah.
As a straight, very monogamous man, I grew up mainly being friends with women. I felt more comfortable in those spaces. I felt more comfortable talking to women. I've never been like a bro, rah, 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 that type of thing. So I think men and women absolutely can be. I have friends that I've had since elementary school, middle school. We talk very often and we talk about all these things, and it has never affected that aspect of the relationship because we're men and women. We're just people, and people can be friends. It's not.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do as well. So why are you only on just disagree? If you think this guy is an example of a man that can be just friends with a woman, why are you not on strongly disagree? It's an objective statement.
So my perspective is from kind of a Christian worldview. I believe that, you know, God created man and woman to come together in love and attraction, to be one. And so from that standpoint, I believe that there is just a natural attraction. I have had some extremely close friends that were girls, and that attraction just developed because it wasn't just physical, but it was love. It was getting to see how they were around their family, around kids, what they do for work, what they do for school, developing that relationship. So from my perspective, that attraction develops because I wasn't just looking at her from just, you know, she's just a body. Yeah, she's just a piece of meat. You develop that emotional attraction, that emotional
Which is why I'm over here. Yes, joining this dark side.
That's actually a little bit sad in my opinion. He's never had a friend who's a woman or a girl that he's not eventually developed feelings or any kind of attraction to. And I want to know why she's now come across.
Like, completely agree with you on that. From
Can
the
you
same
love-
Christian standpoint, 100%.
Oh, we've passed the segment already. I really wish they had a bit more time to just be really pedantic and just be like, can you really see no scenario in which a man and a woman can just be friends? Is there no realm of existence in which that is possible? Because I'd be really surprised if they continue that conversation, that anyone could logically come to the conclusion that it is just flat out impossible. Let me know what you guys think as well, actually, because I'm curious if any of you disagree with me. And it's strange because although everyone's entitled to their opinion, your opinion would essentially be, if you did disagree with me, that I'm wrong about my friendship with these women and that we aren't and can't just be friends, which is strange. So yeah, leave a comment down below.
I would date someone I do not find physically attractive.
Okay, this one for me. This is an interesting one. I think if I were to date someone, it would start off as a consequence of us finding each other attractive. But also I can meet someone that I don't think is necessarily physically attractive to begin with, but after getting to know them and getting to know their personality and the energy and stuff, end up finding them physically attractive kind of as a consequence of that. But then does that personality and energy making them physically attractive to me mean that I still would only date someone I find physically attractive? So yeah, I think I'd probably go disagree on this one, because I think either I'd find them physically attractive and then I'd ask them out, or I wouldn't find them physically attractive to begin with. I'd get to know them and then I'd find them physically attractive and then I'd ask them out. So I think it's unlikely I'd end up dating someone if I didn't find them attractive to begin with, or find them attractive after I got to know them. But at the same time, I definitely wouldn't rule it out. And I'm also curious what these guys would say. So I definitely wouldn't be standing in this strongly disagree section just yet.
Ah, man. Like, you want to say something first?
I do it all the time because there's a lot you don't, just from the physicalness, it's like sometimes there's some people that I learned just by not going in based off physical attraction is I end up being attracted to them just because of their personality. And
Okay, yeah. Isn't that exactly what I said? Isn't he just saying I wouldn't start off attracted to them, but because of their personality, I would end up being attracted to them, so he should be standing in disagree? Or is he saying I'm attracted to them in the sense that I really like their personality, but I don't end up physically attracted to them, I just end up personality attracted to them, and still after getting to know them personality, I'm just not interested in them physically at all?
you know, looks can be deceiving. I could say the same on the opposite end, where I thought someone was absolutely attractive, but then I got to know them and they were the worst person I could have possibly been on a date with.
Yeah, that definitely works the other way around as well. Someone that you think is attractive and you get to know them, you go, oh, you're a horrible, mean person. Any attraction can just go instantly. Although I guess you could also be one of them freaky people that likes a meanie. Meanie sounds way too innocent to follow freaky. Anyway.
I feel like you can definitely not be attracted to somebody initially, and then as you get
Yeah.
I feel like at that point, like once I like someone's personality romantically, I probably also think they're attractive.
I would say that for some, you know, it's not a reflection on your character. How weighted appearance versus personality might be, it differs from person to person. I think that we have our preferences, and I think that a certain element of physical attractiveness is fitness, health, hygiene, and that reflects on usually competence, responsibility, and dedication. But I do see it as important, although not the whole package by any means.
Right. It's the very first impression you get of most people.
Yes.
Because like, you meet someone and you can't hear their voice first thing most of the time, you just see them. And you're like, oh, that person's attractive, or like, I don't see myself with that person because I don't find them attractive. And that's totally fine. Not everybody's attracted to everybody. But me personally, I would not be with someone I don't find attractive.
So I gotta give context here, right? If I'm meeting you in person and you don't look good, then I'm over there with y'all. But if I'm meeting you through a dating app and I get catfished, but you're kind of cool, right? then, cause I met a girl that had nice pictures. But then when I seen her in person, she was a little bit bigger than I prefer, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Well, everyone can have nice pictures today.
Yeah. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a bit bigger, but for preference sake, I wasn't really feeling it. But her personality is what got me. And then I started entertaining it. So, right, even though I got catfished, I actually considered, you know, taking it seriously.
But I'm so curious, is he saying that after all that, he then started to become physically attracted to her? Or is he going, still at no point was I physically attracted to her, but I considered taking it seriously because the lack of physical attraction just didn't matter. That's the annoying thing about these videos is you can't ask the questions to them because you're not there. I would love to get the clarity.
Sometimes I really try this because it's led to some great people I've got to meet along the way. I will date outside of my preferences just to see what that's like.
If you're not initially attracted to that person and have a strong sexual attraction, then it's not going to work because we know that relationships get worse, not better.
What? Relationships get worse, not better? According to who? Last spring, I went to Spain. I went to Alicante with my grandparents, and they're like 80, and they were sat down at lunch, like wetting themselves laughing. Like the amount of joy and happiness that they bring each other is like the most ultimate life and relationship goals. And I don't think it was any better like 50 or 60 years ago for them. I think if you speak to older couples that are genuinely deeply in love, they would say that their relationship has only gotten better over time. I mean, no doubt things change. Like maybe some of the excitement changes to comfort. Like maybe when you see them, rather than feeling butterflies, you feel safe. But in no way, shape or form is any of that necessarily worse. And maybe Janelle is the type of person that has a massive preference for the butterflies and the early excitement and the meeting new people and doesn't really care so much for the love and the comfort and the feeling of safety and all those kind of things that come with a longer relationship. And so for her, over time, relationships get worse, not better, because of her preferences. But again, the blanket statement that we know that relationships get worse over time is just bizarre. And again, it makes me feel a little bit sad because it's like, have you never seen a couple that have been together for decades that are deeply happy, that share a deep amount of joy and love and happiness? I'm thinking from the way that she speaks, surely not, right? And also actually her saying that if you don't have a strong initial sexual attraction, it won't work. Like that too is wild to me. Like, does she not think that you can be friends with someone for years and then end up falling in love with them and having a relationship with them and have it work? Because surely she's aware that there are loads of happy, healthy, loving relationships that didn't start off with initial sexual attraction. I really do just wonder if she's speaking way too much from personal experience and not considering other people's possible points of view. But even then, the lack of awareness that other types of relationships are possible is just, it's perplexing.
That's like, I don't know, I think it's a recipe for a disaster.
Cheating is the worst thing my partner could do to me. 3, 2, 1.
I think probably strongly disagree, right? Maybe I'm way too pedantic for these videos because obviously being cheated on would be an awful thing to happen. But at the same time, your partner could kill you and your entire family. Albeit extremely rare, but that does happen. So there are worse things that your partner could do to you than cheating on you. If that said one of the worst, I'd possibly go towards agree, but it's not objectively the worst thing, right? Maybe my brain isn't built for these types of videos. I feel like if I was there and I was like, well, technically, they could kill you and everyone you love, everyone would be like, It's not the point, is it, mate? But I'd be like, don't word the bloody question like that then. If you want to figure out whether I think that cheating is horrible, like just a terrible thing to do to someone, have the opinion be, cheating is a horrible thing to do to someone. Or cheating would be an absolutely horrible thing that my partner could do to me. But yeah, for better or worse, I think studying law has corrupted my thinking process.
I feel like there's like probably worse things like in theory that a partner could do to their partner, but just because that's such an important aspect for me, and like I feel like my partners in the past have like been very aware that was like something that I actively would not do. I feel like that would just that adds like an extra element of evil.
Okay, I'm glad we got the theoretical acknowledgement that there are worse things. Now I can relax.
And my mind goes to marriage. I mean, you know, when you marry this woman, when I marry a woman someday, you promise literally everything you have to be with her, literally thick and thin, to be with her through everything, through highs and lows. And I mean, if you do something like cheating, it's basically like, screw this love, this wasn't real. These promises that I made between us and God mean nothing. I think for a lot of Christians, that's like a big thing, is cheating. I mean,
100%. And it's one of the 10 commandments too. It's like, do not commit adultery.
Yeah.
So that is definitely the worst thing, because
I mean, just saying thou shalt not commit murder is also one of the 10 commandments.
getting married is a promise between you and that person and God.
I mean, technically there's worse things, like they could kill you, which would probably be the worst thing, because then like you're not even in the picture.
You belong over here.
Yes, exactly. Let's take it all literally and go over to strongly disagree.
So I'm kind of like, you know, but I would say that would like destroy me, and I would never even think about something like that.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I was actually cheated on a few, like 4 or 5 months ago. I struggled with self-esteem so much growing up, and that was the worst thing that could have happened. That destroyed any chance I had at self-love at that time. And it was just devastating for me. Like, it really was just devastating, because it didn't just destroy that relationship, it destroyed my entire image of myself that I had built up based on other people's validation, and I had to rip it down to the studs and just fully start over. Yeah, so that's why I'm over here. Strongly agree. For me personally, it was the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah, that is pretty messed up. Fair enough. Well, I hope you find someone loyal and feels like he can truly trust someone again someday.
Cheating is f***ed up. It's not a good feeling. Is it the worst thing that a partner could do to me? To be honest, I've outgrown that. Bro, I had over $250,000 stolen from me this year, bro. And that put me in a dark-ass place. Now imagine, if my partner stole that money from me, or she was just a homie, I'd be more mad about the money, you feel me, right?
I don't have that money to be stolen.
You know what I mean?
So you're saying you care more about money than a relationship?
But because at the end of the day, me and my ex, we ain't together no more, so I don't give a f if she was a homie, if she was, right? But if she stole my money, yeah, that affects my life.
That's so valid. If she cheats, I mean, it would be horrible for him. It'd be pretty devastating. But at the end of the day, he's like, well, I've lost a cheater, and now I've gained the opportunity to find someone who isn't. Whereas someone running away with $250,000, you're like, great, not only have I lost a relationship and, I mean, admittedly lost a thief, so that's good, but I've also lost $250,000. Imagine the number of ArthurTV hoodies you could buy with that. It doesn't bear thinking about.
So my whole thing is, when we talking about the prompt, is cheating the worst thing that a partner could do for me? I've been cheated on before. The first time I was cheated on, bro, I was petty. I was in high school, bro. I drove all the way to the crib and told her mom what she was doing with me. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah, I was vengeful. But now I just be like, you know, so many people do it. There's worse things that they happen. Like, if you kill my mom, I'll be more mad rather than you f***ing a homie.
That's so interesting. I love that there's a guy like that makes me feel like my viewpoint is represented. Because if no one had brought up that there were objectively worse things that they could do, it would just frustrate me a little bit. But I must say, I do admire these people's ability to be like, okay, pedantic stuff aside, you know, we have the ability to let those thoughts go. It's a horrible thing to do, so we're standing in strongly agree. Because I would not be able to. I'd just be in strongly disagree, being like, oh, you guys are all wrong, and it's a bit annoying. I'd just be looking at the production team behind the camera, just being like, terribly worded question, and they would never invite me back again.
The sanctity of marriage is supposed to be till death do us part. That doesn't mean if your carnal flesh gave in and you had you know, an indiscretion that you're able to hit the door running. No, that means there's work to be done. We have problems.
Oh, I don't know about minimizing it to an indiscretion of the carnal flesh. I mean, this is one where it's obviously totally subjective. I'm not saying she's wrong for thinking that if someone cheats on her, it just means that there's work to be done and they can continue their relationship. I definitely have no objective foundation of being like, she is wrong, it's a massive deal and relationship ending. I just personally do not agree with her at all.
For me, I think it actually can be the best thing because it's a sign that there is a huge problem in the relationship that needs fixed. Most sex is not emotional.
What? Again, maybe for her, but she can't say that as a blanket statement, right? There are plenty of people that only have sex if there's an emotional connection. And most people in relationships, every time they have sex, there'll be an emotional connection. Again, she's speaking very generally, I think, from personal experience, which is just bizarre.
So it's just a bodily act that animals do, and you're going to blow up a marriage or a relationship with children over sex?
And what the hell is that? Like, that sounds like victim blaming to me. Like, if I have kids with someone and they cheat on me, and then I'm like, oh, in that case, you know, you've betrayed me, I'm going to leave this relationship. And they turn around and go, what, you're going to split apart this family where there are kids involved just because of my act of indiscretion? I'd be like, yeah, but this isn't my fault. It was you that did it. Your cheating caused all this. This is a consequence of your actions. This isn't my decision. I mean, it is my decision in terms of me leaving, but like, this is your fault. What are you making me feel guilty for? You cheated on me.
You could say that about the person doing the cheating too.
I've been cheated on, so I have been cheated on.
Well, so you think that's something you could like, oh, you have gotten over it?
I have gotten over it. If my husband cheats on me, of course I'd be devastated. I'm human, I believe, just like all y'all too, but I'd be like, damn, like, what's the problem here? What's the issue?
See, but that's,
and can we solve this?
Why don't you just talk? Like, if you guys are married and you have that emotional
I feel like there's things before that
happen though. We know that people don't.
I think we should work to changing that.
We should, but that doesn't mean
accepting.
I'm going to unconditionally love you just because you went and had an indiscretion. I wouldn't do that to my son. My son F's up all the time and does crazy shit. I'm like, where on God's green earth did you learn that? That doesn't mean I stopped loving him.
For men, I feel like we take cheating a lot more personally as opposed to women. It comes to the ego.
People's boundaries are all different. So if, you know, you have perhaps been with no or less partners and then you get married, to learn that that person cheated would be proportionally much more devastating to someone who's had maybe a lot of relationship experience and therefore that's more of an active part in their life. So I think that everyone's boundaries are different. So for some people, I have seen them get over it. I know for me personally, I would say that I'm a woman that would take that devastatingly seriously and would not look lightly at it. So it depends on the person's boundaries.
If you had children and if you had a family involved, you would break up your family over a man's one-time indiscretion.
It's not her breaking up the family. It's the guy who cheated on her. He broke apart the family by doing the cheating. And I mean, she says she's got kids. I hope this isn't a way of thinking that someone else has put into her brain. Like, I hope the father of her kids hasn't cheated on her and been like, oh, what, you're really gonna split apart our family because of this? And she's like, oh yeah, no, I don't. Of course I don't. I wouldn't want that to happen. Like, I hope she realizes that if she decides to walk, it's his fault, not hers.
Yes.
That would adversely affect your child and possibly send her to the stripper pole.
What? What absolutely bizarre reasoning. So she'd turn around and be like, okay, husband, you cheated on me, but I'm not going to leave you because I don't want our kids to end up as strippers. I mean, first of all, it's a very toxic mindset to have because that kind of thinking can keep you in unhealthy and potentially dangerous relationships. Secondly, totally unnecessary shaming of a line of work. Thirdly, I don't know why she's speaking about it like it's almost an inevitability of them breaking up the relationship. And finally, again, it's not her fault for breaking up the relationship. It's the guy for cheating. It's just so strange. There are countless people whose parents have split up and they haven't become strippers or gone into any line of work that she has a personal problem with. And those kind of thoughts should not scare you into staying in a relationship where you're not happy or you're not being treated well. Whether that's because they're unkind, they're cheaters, or they're just outright abusive. Man, I knew there would be opinions in this video that I disagreed with, but I didn't think they'd be like that.
I don't feel comfortable. Answering that question because I feel like it's making a lot of.
That feels like what happens. This is what happens.
I feel like that.
We don't
that
want to
just
answer
shows,
those questions, but
that shows an example onto the kids. Yeah. Like, oh, this is not that bad of a thing.
Yeah, and I think that like somebody cheating on you is more than just like a physical thing. Like that's a break of trust, and I feel like if you can't have that trust in someone, then I also don't want them to be like raising my kids with me.
Yeah. So we're all saying that love is conditional is the end of the
yes. Oh, 100% agree with that.
What is she raising her arms for? Of course it is. If you're in a relationship with someone, it should always be conditional. Again, let's go to extremes just to illustrate the point. Say you're in love with your partner, you're all happy and stuff, and they go around and they commit 1,000 murders and they set fire to your house thinking your entire family, including your kids, are in it. And then just to really drill it home, they go off and commit 1,000,000 other heinous crimes. At that point, you should absolutely be like, I'm not in love with you anymore. Maybe in some relationships, some of the love will always remain. Like if you had a kid and they ended up becoming a horrible person overnight, like 20 years down the line, I'm sure kind of no matter what, you'll always have a certain amount of love for them as your kid. But certainly in a relationship, conditions surrounding your health, happiness, and security just should be there. Surely to some extent she agrees, right?
Monogamy is overrated. 3, 2, 1.
Monogamy is overrated.
Yeah, for this one, I'd probably be strongly disagree, if not just disagree. I mean, at risk of over breaking down the question, overrated speaks to how rated it is in society. And I think society generally views monogamy in a similar way I do. I mean, certainly if you're in a relationship where your partner is expecting monogamy of you, you should be monogamous. And so monogamy there is super important. But obviously it's way less important if you're single or polyamorous, which is, I'm pretty sure what Frank is. I'm pretty sure he said he was polyamorous. So if he's in a relationship with someone and they don't want to be exclusive, who really cares? I've never really understood why I should care what someone does in the bedroom with other consenting adults. If they want to bring a third or a fourth or a fifth in, or they want to be able to go have one-on-one stuff with other people. What's that got to do with me? As long as it's happy, healthy, consensual sex, people can do their thing.
Come on, man, get over here, get your foot over here. You know you belong here. At least
I know. We're like,
Think about it.
we're like in a second.
Think about it.
We're taught from the Disney, all these fairy tales, it's like you're supposed to be with that one and only, you know? So it's very frightening to break something traditional, but after like a few months with it, I just knew I'm like, this is the right choice. I've been in the most happiest of relationships. I just celebrated my 3 years with my primary partner, as well as my 2-year anniversary with my secondary partner. But it's like, you know, I do think that monogamy is kind of overrated. I don't think that there's anything like, you know, wrong with it. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But I do think that non-monogamy and poly relationships should be something that like, it's looked at as an option.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. If he's happy, more power to him.
I think nowadays I know more open relationships than I do strictly closed relationships with the people that I know. I would say I disagree that monogamy is overrated, but I do agree that for some people like yourself, poly relationships work better. So I don't look down upon them. I think whatever works for you works for you.
Yes.
But I can still say that for like someone like myself or people that are similarly just very focused and have like strict kind of like, I just can't ever, oh my God, I could never imagine more than like one person.
It's a lot. It takes a lot.
So therefore I don't think monogamy is overrated. I think it depends on the person, and I think for me it's definitely not it's the only option. For you, poly is like the right way, so it just depends. I'm completely non-judgmental. I think it just depends.
Yeah, I kind of knew this would happen. They are all standing with respect to the statement, monogamy is not important to me. So she strongly disagrees because monogamy is really important to her. He strongly agrees because monogamy isn't important to him. But I don't think their positions are as much related to monogamy is overrated, because I think society does value it very, very highly, but some people are okay with people being in open relationships or polyamorous relationships. And I think especially, for example, the Christians, they are going to be looking around and going, wow, everyone thinks that monogamy is really, really important. You know, monogamy is really, really highly rated in my sphere. So they technically could stand slap bang in the middle and be like, it's not overrated. Everyone rates it very highly because it's very important. Oh, I'm doing it again. Oh, Arthur's insufferably pedantic. Everyone go over to the strongly agree side. And you know what? Because everyone's reading it in the same way, it doesn't even matter.
I don't mind monogamy, right? I just don't like a controlling relationship where it's completely like, no, you can't nobody else, but at the same time, you want to me once or twice a month. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, you know, me and my ex was together for 5 years. I actually broke up with her in April, but for 2.5 years out that relationship, we was barely we're like maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Then I moved her in the crib, and then when I moved her in the house, for the whole first year of her living in the house, she just didn't want to have sex.
That's right.
Now, we had an agreement that we had agreed on where we could do various things that we just didn't want to know about and stuff like that, right? And because you wasn't me and like that, I was handling the agreement. Like, I was following the agreement. But because there were certain things that wasn't necessarily 100% out there, that created complications in the relationship to the point that it ended up to us breaking up.
All right, I'm kind of glad he ended up being like, it was a consensual arrangement. I worried for a second that his point was like, oh, if I'm not getting it from my partner who's expecting me to be monogamous, I can sleep around, which obviously I don't agree with. But if him and his partner are sitting there going, we're not intimate very frequently, we both have needs that we would happily be fulfilled elsewhere, and we'd be happy in this relationship if we did those things and just didn't tell each other, then all right, do your thing, guys. Although that being said, there may well be a point there that if they had valued monogamy more highly, their relationship might have worked out. Maybe chasing those short-term gains is why in the long term the relationship failed. But then again, maybe the relationship lasted that long because they were both able to get those needs satisfied, and so that didn't cause any conflict or tension in the relationship elsewhere. You know, maybe they weren't building resentment or anger towards each other because they weren't getting what they wanted from a relationship. And so maybe there are happy, healthy relationships that only work on those conditions. And if that works for them, all right. I mean, it's not for me personally, but what have my preferences got to do with them?
I think it's definitely like, it has a place, like for certain people. Like obviously we have two people who are like very religious here, and it works well for them. And I just think like if I was in an open relationship, I would go crazy. Like even when I'm in like a normal relationship where it's like, I don't expect them to cheat on me, I'm still like it's...
Oh, she means go crazy as in like worry about her partner a lot. I thought for a second she was like, oh, if I was in an open relationship and I could sleep with anyone, I would go crazy. I would just be shagging multiple times per day. And again, I wasn't going to judge. I was just going to be like, fair enough, I was not expecting that. But that's not what she meant, so all of that's irrelevant too. Oh God, this commentary is not going well.
I can't imagine a world where I would agree with that. And also before I had like loved someone or like dated anybody, I was like, oh no, I could totally be in an open relationship. And then I actually did, and I was like, oh.
Are you a very sexual person? Just curious though.
Like kind of.
Kind of.
Sure.
It's like, yeah.
So if your partner was very sexual too, and he's like, baby, like I want to be with you, but you always just shut him down because you ain't in the mood.
I don't. That's like never happened.
Okay, but I'm just
like
saying,
I just feel like that's like not. That's like personally for me not an issue. But also, if, I don't know. I think that would definitely be a conversation if there was like an imbalance. But also, I think there's different things that make people compatible as partners, and that's definitely one of them.
Damn, yeah, fair enough. Also, what accent is that, by the way? She hit a few words, and I was like, that is not how I was expecting you to pronounce them. The way she was like, before.
And also before, I had like.
That was a cool one, and not one I think I've ever heard before.
What he's saying is the cry of many men today is that they're not getting enough sex from their partner. And not just sex, it's not like men are like, oh, I'm heartless.
That connection.
But listen, men need sex to create intimacy. Women need intimacy to have sex. And people get married and then fuck around. It's like, just don't get married then. And stay like this boy, dates and anniversaries every
Y'all two are my people, I swear to God. Y'all two are my people.
Next month is his 1 year anniversary with partner number 3. Like just, you know what I mean?
You know what? I kind of agree with her, which is something I was not expecting to say. Like, yeah, if you're gonna get married and then get upset that you're not having enough sex, and as a result cheat on your partner repeatedly, don't get married in the first place. Just remain single, or get in a polyamorous relationship, or wait until you find someone that matches your drive. I mean, she still worded it in a way that kind of understated the severity of cheating whilst you're married, but it's good that she acknowledged that getting married and being stuck and cheating constantly isn't your only option.
By the end of the day, nobody should dictate your relationship because everyone's gonna try to push what they think works for, you know, this is what's best for you. Like, I'm over it. I'm like, why? So I can be frustrated and pissed off, and like, I've tried it. To me, it did not work.
I want to take perspective because, you know, Christian, I'm gonna take perspective that's a little away from my biblical views. And no disrespect, but I do think polygamy is just laziness.
Not polygamy. This is polyamory. Polygamy is when it's multiple wives, just one person.
I see that as laziness, that you don't want to commit to someone in the hard times. Like you were talking about a little bit about, well, they're not getting fulfilled sexually, so why not find it somewhere else? Yeah. Why not just do the hard work to work on your relationship?
I agree with
that. I was ready for this question.
And I mean, there's such a emotional, there's a psychological just importance in being with one person.
Yeah, I think that perspective is really valid too. Just going like, just because you're unhappy with your sex life as it is, doesn't mean you instantly have to go towards cheating or polyamory or whatever. Like there should be a massive importance placed on going, oh, can I either work on myself to be able to deal with this better? Or can we work on this so that we're more aligned? You know, working through it with someone that you're in a relationship with, rather than just being like, oh, this isn't exactly what my flesh carnally desires, so my instant solution is going to be cheating or polyamory.
So then why do we have such a high divorce rate?
I agree with you on that.
Why do we have such a high divorce rate?
Why are people still cheating? Why is open?
Because they're not. Because our country, I think, is lazy. We don't want to have these hard conversations of maybe we should go to therapy, maybe we should try to get help because we love one another. It's like, nah, I can go get this.
Or even to talk about it, period. Just to talk about it, right?
So me and my ex, we actually did couples therapy because, again, we was barely for like 2.5 years, bro. We went to couples therapy. Next thing you know, everything was great for like a month. And then one day she just blew up. She said, man, I still don't feel like you, this, and that. But like, she went in, bro. You know what I mean? So at the same time, there was a point in my relationship where it really just came to the point like, baby, I love everything else about you. You know what I mean, right? This area sucks. Are you still attracted to me? She said, yes, I'm still attracted to you, right? Well, here's the thing. If you just don't want to have sex with me, right? Go somebody do this. I don't give a
Yeah.
Let's have that conversation, right? Because I get everything else I want from you anyways. I was open to the idea. I want to be with my woman, but if you don't want to do this, I'm fine just
But
on the same page.
I mean, I understand the importance of sex, but there's self-sacrifice in every relationship you need to make. If you're happy with her and everything she had, but you also have a value on sex, then maybe she's not the right person.
Yeah, valid. Or even maybe she is the right person and you just go like, well, I'm not going to get everything I want to a 100% degree in a relationship because no one's perfect. And you just go, oh, well, all the happiness that the relationship brings massively outweighs the slight dissatisfaction I have from not having my sex drive perfectly matched. Like, yeah, maybe more often than you'd like, you'll be in the mood and your partner won't. That doesn't mean that you're not right for each other. And if you're sitting there thinking that every single desire and want you want in a relationship is going to be matched by the perfect person, you're probably never going to find that perfect person because chances are they don't exist. Even my lovely grandparents, I'm sure they compromise on a lot of things. Don't necessarily want to think about any of those types of things. And also, by the way, I'm not outright disagreeing with him. You know, it might be the case that you can be happy with everything, but you have different views on sex or frequency or intimacy or whatever, and that may be sufficient for you breaking up, but definitely not necessarily.
But the thing was, did I want to go look for greener grass or did I just want to water my own grass? I just stuck it out for 5 years, bro.
That's another aspect of being like romantically compatible with someone, and sometimes there's like one thing that's not there and that sucks. But it's like especially if that other person, that's something that they prioritize. Like personally, if my partner was like, oh, like I love like everything about you, but like this is not compatible, and they wanted to go sleep with other people, like that would make me feel so bad about myself.
And that's why you do what works for you.
That's why you do what
I'm
works
just saying
for
like that's like a compatibility issue then I think, because I'm not your ex-girlfriend, I don't know how she feels, but if I were in that scenario, I just like that just would make me so sad, even though it's it's none of your fault that there's that imbalance.
The comments gonna talk so much shit.
Yeah, they
right.
They're gonna be like, he's a
The day
slut,
I
he's
broke up
awful.
with my girl, bro, she told me like I won't say everything. The day I broke with my girl, she said, man, she's like, I just be counting down the days. Like we had sex in like 12 days. I gotta go have sex with y'all. Otherwise, Ashley gonna get mad. You know what I mean, right? And I'm hearing all this and shit, right? You know what I mean? So she said a bunch, and I felt like I had to break up with her, right?
Yeah, no, that's
did not want to. I feel like I had to.
Yeah, that would definitely take a toll on you.
I think all this goes back to clear communication, because if I don't think that cheating means that polyamory would actually be the solution to that. I think that it goes back to your values and what works for you. And I think that I would maybe venture to say that more people might be poly than are exploring that right now. And still at the same time, monogamy I think works for a lot of people. So it's all what works for you.
Damn, that was a really interesting segment. I mean, it definitely didn't have an obvious objective answer. So I'm super curious what you guys think about that one.
I would date someone in this room. 3, 2, 1.
Right? I don't know these people.
The two Christians, are they going to say each other? This feels a little bit pre-planned.
Surprised he was over here. I'm like, what are you doing? I know, he's already said what you're doing anyway.
The energy is cool.
You just have to have a pulse and we'll go out with you.
What? That is definitely not how that works. I was slightly surprised that we got through the entirety of the last segment without any real shade being thrown towards this guy for being polyamorous, but I guess she couldn't help herself. Maybe she felt like she had missed her chance and then one came up again. But yeah, I mean, just because he can date anyone whilst he's in a relationship with someone doesn't mean that he does. He could have way higher standards than anyone else in this room. It's just that he might find multiple people that meet those standards.
Like perfect example, right? Like Janelle, she got good energy, right? Now imagine Janelle might be the coolest person. Next thing you know, you start getting to know her, she might be crazy. You'd be like, then you come over here all of a sudden.
Generally, the few people I've been attracted to, they look like Tim Burton dolls or just like weird goth people. Yeah, just like weird goth people. So like, it's just coincidence. It's very rare that I see these people. So it's not a personal thing.
Fair enough.
Sir?
My girlfriend would kill me, and
Respect.
I like to think I'm pretty picky, so.
But am I not your type though?
You got me feeling some type of way now that you say it,
So you're my good friend?
okay.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, for me, beliefs are extremely important.
She's blushing.
I mean, I didn't try to get all flirty, but you are also very gorgeous.
Please send us wedding invitation.
But no, beliefs are very important within relationships. I think I look into, obviously I have a desire to be a husband and one day be a father, and I think if you have difference in beliefs, it's very hard to raise coherently.
Absolutely.
I think that just is extremely important.
Oh, I kind of wanted to see a little bit more. He kind of went from complimenting her and being like, oh, you're gorgeous, to being like, oh, but if you don't have these things, don't work. He should have turned around and been like, and it seems like you have all the same values as me. And I wanted to see what she would have said in return. Well, another super interesting Spectrum video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. If you did, please feel free to subscribe down below. Do leave a comment with all your opinions. I really do enjoy reading them, especially if you disagree with me. And thanks for watching. Bye.